shared vision is still profoundly human. And with that, I would then like to welcome our next speaker for this, our fifth Fridays anniversary. It is none other than the Dean of the Faculty of Education here at UP, Professor Lindelani Mnguni. Some of you may know him as the man who obtained his PhD at 28, or for becoming an associate professor at the age of 33. Others might have read his books or have cited some of his 71 articles listed on Google Scholar. Irrespective of whether you've had the privilege of having him as a lecturer, supervisor, a deputy dean, or director, I know that most of us will agree that his excellence and awards in research and education are far outweighed by his humanity. Professor Lindelani, if you're ready, over to you.
Good morning, Eugenie. Just confirming if you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Great stuff. Colleagues, good morning. I must greet, I was actually quite excited when I saw so many colleagues from VETS joining in, and I'm sending my heartfelt greetings to all of them. And I miss you guys a lot. But Eugenie, in relation to today, I must greet all the colleagues who are online, the distinguished guests, the fellow educators, and the team at KUS, particularly Professor Linda and you, Eugene, and the team behind the scenes. You've done an amazing job in getting us to today, and in particular today being a major milestone for the symposium, the 5th anniversary, which is a really, really important testament to the good work being done, not just at KUS, but broadly speaking within the space of online distance education. And it's my privilege, of course, to welcome also the panelists who are going to be participating today, the speakers, the keynote speakers as well. It's really great to welcome all of you to the University of Pretoria. Even though we meet online, I did say to Linda, I thought today we're going to meet in person so that we could have refreshments. And she said refreshments are in my fridge, so I'll go and enjoy them a bit later. But colleagues, it's really important, I think, that we have this symposium, one of a few that I think are really, really important for the future of education. And this is because in my considered view, the primary aim of education has always been and must continue to be to prepare students for the future. I call these, as some of you may know, future-proofing students. But this future-proofing of students must go beyond helping them survive change, but it actually must help them thrive. Now, to achieve this, it means education itself must be future-proofed. Yet, as we learned in the COVID-19 pandemic, and also in 2022 when ChatGPT was launched, the future is unpredictable.
Prof, you've hit mute.
Sorry, it must have muted itself. But I was saying, as we saw in 2022, as well as in the COVID-19 pandemic, the future is unpredictable. We all tried the best we could, but we were generally caught off guard. Not because the future came too quickly, but because maybe we did not anticipate it as best as we should have. Now, with this in mind, in my view, KUS in particular is at the forefront of preparing for this uncertain future. UP Online has expanded higher education over the years to thousands of students globally, building the infrastructure and expertise required for truly flexible, but most importantly, scalable and impactful higher quality online education. Now, as we gather today and tomorrow, I urge every one of us to learn from KUS and others, of course, to imagine together what the future of education might be. And of course, we don't know it yet, but it is coming. In my view, there are some changes that are somewhat guaranteed in the next 10 years or so. Number one, theories of education as we know them are going to face some serious questions. For example, is it still constructivism in the purest form when AI replaces learners in the construction of knowledge? Is it still authentic assessment when The lecturer is replaced by AI in developing assessment questions, and the learners use AI to respond to those questions. The change number two that I anticipate is that AI will evolve to artificial general intelligence. If that stage is reached, and I'm sure it will within the next 5 years or so, it could eventually lead to technological singularity, a point where AI surpasses human intelligence. The third change that I anticipate within the next 10 years, or maybe slightly longer, is that higher education will move towards decentralization. The future will blend physical universities with global online ecosystems. And these ecosystems, in my view, will not be just a UP ecosystem or a VETS ecosystem or UJ or any other university, but they will integrate different universities. And learning in that ecosystem will be transdisciplinary, modular, and accessible anywhere in the world. But what does this mean for us? If these three changes I've mentioned come to pass, what do they mean for us? And I don't know the answer to that. And I'm hoping that today's symposium will answer these questions, or at least bring us closer to understanding what this means. And I must just emphasize, I strongly believe that the theories of education will face major, major challenges. I'm working on a paper with some colleagues now where we question whether Bloom's taxonomy is still relevant or is flexible enough in light of artificial intelligence and these technologies. Now, colleagues, as we come out of this conversation today and looking at the program that we have, it's clear that generative AI is inevitable, and so is change. But then it means we must also move towards decentralized AI-enabled online distance education, where learners will access knowledge anywhere and anytime, not only through universities, I must emphasize this, but through integrated global learning ecosystems. But this shift compels us to rethink the university's role, any university. Traditional institutions, as we know, simply cannot accommodate the hundreds of thousands of students seeking higher education, nor the millions of professionals who require continuous, just-in-time upskilling. Now, if this is the case, the solution will lie in collaboration across universities, across disciplines, including education, health sciences, humanities, IT, engineering, and so on. Together, we must forge new pedagogies and technologies for this decentralized future. We must also imagine an educational landscape that is scalable, intelligent, and inclusive, but also responsive, a system that personalizes learning while maintaining human connection and academic integrity. More importantly, we must protect what it means to be human. So, colleagues, as we adapt and adopt, we must also be very cautious of the risk of devaluation of higher education itself, simply because we are using AI or educational technologies to replace ourselves, thereby dropping the value of higher education and the quality of education itself. I therefore hope that this symposium will not only celebrate the 5 years or the accomplishments that we've had over the years, but I hope that it's going to ignite imagination. And as you can hear from my speaking, I sort of think crazy things and crazy ideas. And I'm hoping that all of us will start imagining a future that we've never seen. And more importantly, commit to future proofing both our students and our systems for such a future. And therefore, that education indeed be an equalizer that it's supposed to be and empower generations. So, with those few words, colleagues, I welcome all of you. I hope that we're going to have robust conversations, open conversations, imaginative conversations, but more importantly, that we're going to shape our future together. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Lindelani. Appreciate it. For those of you that don't know, I know Lindelani from many, many years ago, and I can't believe that our roads have crossed again today. I think that's actually the beauty of being in higher education. Lindelani, I also share a fondness and a love for many colleagues at WITS, same with colleagues at TUT, and it's such a pleasure to have been part of and still be part of the South African higher education